Previously on the F1 Road to Glory.
Oh shit.
Lock up, Vettel's in the wall, and Gasly's crashed into him as well. There's a front wing over us on the rear wing, and there's a massive crash here.
Sorry. That was a total mistake, my fault.
If we really go off that super accurate recap of last time out, we should return to calling this series the Charity to Glory, because even though we haven't made an explicit advert for our charity yet in the series like we maybe did in the past with the Williams team, we really have got very lucky. We managed to finesse our way to a podium last time out in what was a mental Azerbaijan Grand Prix, so if you haven't checked that one out, definitely do so. But here we are then at the Canadian Grand Prix, a favourite circuit of mine, so I'm hoping we can do quite well. But as I said in the last one, I feel like at some point we might crash back down to reality, and that may just be the case here. Canada, although one of my favourite circuits, not necessarily the most chaotic Grand Prix on the F1 game, and with a lack of chaos, it really means there's nowhere to hide, there's no safety blanket, there's no band-aid, and that is all before we get back to our team as an operational unit. Do I need to remind you guys? I'm still in disbelief at what we saw and witnessed last episode with the pit stop times of this team. It's actually something I'm used to. This is just how long the Ferrari pit crew takes sometimes. Now, where are our pit crew? Oh my word. I literally just talked about a 7-second pit stop being a typical pit stop time. Like, it's actually impressive. It is impressive that they managed to go even slower than the slow pit stop I initially had, and then fluff it up so much at such a crucial point in the race where you never know. You know, if we were closer to cars, that could have been the difference between where we were and even further podium positions. You never know. Obviously, you just got to be ready for everything, but our team was not ready. They were just sat there, well, I think assuming our car was also DNF in the chaos. But we weren't. We're there to pick up the pieces, and there are many pieces, to be honest, because a lot of people were out of that Grand Prix, and we came through for a fabulous result. But we now move through into qualifying here at the Canadian Grand Prix, and we're gonna have to see how this one goes. This may be a bit more difficult. It's actually quite a promising start though there through turns 1 and 2. Not too bad. P3. Hang on a minute, actually I may be stand corrected. Maybe Canada will be another excellent Grand Prix for us. 3 in a row it could be here as we go through the next fast chicane left and right, and the performance has gone. The performance has left our car, very much like a prancing horse. It is just galloped away from our car as we're down to P12. We tried our best to gain back some position. We actually lost some more down to P14, so it's a miracle in itself we actually gained back the 2 positions, and in the end it is just P12. Okay, so yeah, so that P3 at the start was no. Last time, let's not forget, we qualified in last place, so, and look how that turned out. Well, then you can safely say tomorrow on Sunday we've got every chance in the world to have a really decent result. It's over, car. Oh no, please don't tell me it's raining. Don't tell me it's raining. Oh, thank the Lord for that. I thought we were in a world of trouble. I don't think our team even have the wet tyres ready. Jim, you don't have them. We didn't even bring them to Canada. Huh? Yeah, the team just confirmed, obviously, F1 running on a tight budget from now on, and the budget cap has meant that a team like Ferrari have had to actually cut out wet tyres from our budget. You know, couldn't pay the custom tax for that into Canada. Yeah, it was either that or the ERS battery, and we know, I mean, how bad the ERS is anyway, even with the battery connected. Can you imagine it without it? So, you know, you can imagine why we had to make that decision. So from P12, it may be doom and gloom. Let's hope that's not the setting the scene for this entire race, and we can go forward from here. And, you know, my point stands now. It's not going to rain, so like I said, you know, we were last time, and we got a podium. So from P12, maybe even the race win is possible. Strategy is going to be a one-stop, of course, pretty damn simple here on the Canadian Grand Prix. It's going to be more about trying to keep ourselves a bit clean, and we need to make sure we get as good an exit as we can off a lot of these corners, the slower ones, onto the straights. And I think, to be honest, ERS and fuel is going to be our biggest concern today. Managing that and somehow having enough ERS to even make an overtake is going to be a difficulty, maybe even towards the end of the Grand Prix, especially so, because you guys know that I'm probably Ferrari the worst at managing my ERS at the start, even though I keep banging on about how much we need to do it. Very much road to glory things that, but we move on, and we move on to this race then as we go to 5 red lights, 18 laps around Montreal. What can we do from P12 on the grid? 5 red lights are out, and we're underway, and it's a shocking start for our teammate Leclerc there. Decent one for us as we try and go to the inside and try and thread the needle. Very, very fine. In the end, we have to let Stroll go, and Leclerc is back through on our outside there to the inside for the next second corner as Alonso fends off Lance Stroll using some ERS, and we're now going to jockey for position with our teammate. Gets a little bit close on the rear end, but we're going to get ahead of him and get up into a crucial P11 and look to try and see if we can get on the back of Lance Stroll. Big train up the head as it's the midfield's very, very tight here as the two McLaren showing a bit better pace than they maybe did last time out around the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. They had a bit of a nightmare with a double DNF, I think it was, and there's a DNF, speaking of, behind us with Giovinazzi, and the virtual safety car's out because he's crashed into the back of his teammate. He's crashed into Raikkonen, and then what has gone on there? The Haas cars just simply drove into Giovinazzi. I mean, to be fair, it makes sense. They probably don't have any budget for brakes at this point. I think most of the time with the lack of budget with the Haas, they're just kind of hoping and praying every corner that it's a very windy day out here on circuit to maybe slow them down a bit more. So not surprised they've just driven into the back of Giovinazzi, but some poor driving from Gio there, just drive into his teammate. We saw that last episode actually as well when it was Ocon on lap 1. He just drove into someone. So some very weird driving lines from the AI in this series, it would seem. But from us, it's a very decent racing line as we absolutely embarrass Lance Stroll there round the outside on the virtual safety car restart, using all the delta time. We got fully alongside the Aston Martin car and we're able to overtake him. So we're up into P10 then, the points paying position. So this is it then. 9 more positions and we're at the race win. Just hand us the trophy now.
What did he say?
Next up is Fernando Alonso then, P9, no problem. He's probably going to have a sandwich bag come through into the car once again and retire. I mean, he did actually retire last time out, not even in that chaos. He just had a DNF with an engine failure. So it well and truly could happen, knowing his luck, to be honest. Even in the F1 game, I feel like Alonso's AI is usually quite unlucky in previous years, on previous games. We look back at that. But yeah, I think we should be able to get him. He looks pretty slow actually behind Yuki Tsunoda. Tsunoda looks like he's holding his own and is pulling away a little bit there, but the DRS is going to help him out. You can see every straight. We're just not able to close up too much because I can't use the bloody ERS. So you can see in the bottom right, I'm hardly using it because I don't have any left. Opening DRS, deploying it a little bit, but the second we stop deploying it, the car has no oomph anymore. So it's very, very tough. So we're going to have to try and pick a point where we can just send a kamikaze dive to us and try and just send it basically. But we're going to have to look at some sort of upgrade on the ERS because being on 40% nearly, hovering around there after only 4 laps, is pretty abysmal, really. That just can't run. But we're here now, lap 5, looking for that dive. And here we are then. We catch Alonso napping a bit. We bang tyres, give him some space to work with as we go round the outside into turn 2. And we've got the traction, surprisingly. We cut across to defend the inside line, and we're up into P9. So that's how we do it in the corners. The Ferrari, as we've seen before, is still pretty decent. You know, we've built an okay chassis for this year. It's not absolutely clapped. So in the corners, we can do some work. In the straight, it's still a little bit questionable as Max Verstappen is out on the left. The man who's won the last 2 races in a row, Monaco to Baku, he is out. The championship leader is out. So that's going to be massively helpful for Lewis Hamilton, who was in second place, I believe, in this race. So he's going to be gifted first place. And so that may just heat up the championship fight even more between Hamilton and Verstappen. Pretty much the only realistic thing going on about this entire series. Yeah, just run with it, just run with it. Speaking of unrealistic things then, trying to catch up to Yuki Tsunoda, who's been struggling so far in this season. Only scored, I think, a handful of points there compared to his teammate Pierre Gasly up in P6, but both AlphaTauris looking a lot better than they have done in previous episodes as we're looking to make a dive down the inside. We go for it, but we misjudged it completely, and we've gone too hot into the hairpin, and Yuki has simply embarrassed us with a great switchback move to re-overtake us, but pretty much overestimating there, just the braking power, their lack of braking power of this Ferrari. But we go again then with Tsunoda. Let's see if we can go around the outside this time with DRS. It's a bold move there, lock up on the front front right, very hairy, but we get the move done up into now P7, 6, 5, 4. We're making all the overtakes. P3. Oh, people have pit. Okay. Very next lap, then, we're going to come in for our pit stop, then. Very calm Grand Prix so far. We've gone a whole 8 laps, and there's not been a full course safety car or some horrendous crash. I'm very shocked. What is going on with this series? We used to be so much action, and now it's just a normal race. Just some good racing. What's going on here? But we made the pit stop, and it's actually pretty okay. 2.6. Actually resembles an F1 team pit stop. Well done, boys. That makes up... Well, it doesn't make up for the disaster that was Baku. Nothing will, but it's at least something. But what's not making up for anything is the fact we've come out, actually, and if you look on the top left, Alonso's jumped us by a good 2.3 seconds there. So I think the time we lost with fighting Yuki in the last chicane, and then just the in-lap with worn tyres, we've had an absolute nightmare there. So, again... Ferrari strategy paying off there. The boys should have pulled me a little bit earlier to not get undercut by Alonso. So now we have to go and re-overtake the man. So this is turning into a race-long battle then with Fernando Alonso. And obviously this is quite important. This is for pride, for both our sakes. Obviously the team's pride of, how it all ended with Alonso. And for him, I'm sure individually he would love to gloat and laugh about beating us in the Alpine car. So we're going to have to try our best to re-overtake him if we can. And again, he doesn't look that quick, but to be fair, we've got a lot of people not looking too quick here into the hairpin. We almost cream into the back of... That was the worst word to use, but okay. Looking to get a good run if we can then with DRS, using what we have of ERS as well. We're down to single digits on the battery, so we really are... Yeah, it's actually awful. How does a battery drain this quickly on anything, let alone an F1 car? How is it actually possible? But here we are, trying again to maybe send it. This time we're just not close enough though, so we can't fully send it into turn 1. But can we try and do anything to dance the car round the outside? Maybe we can, as Alonso's a little bit offset there. Bit of a wiggle, and he's actually a bit susceptible. Can we make a move? No, he parks it really well. I've got to stay on the inside. So this is turning into a bit of a Titanic scrap actually with Fernando Alonso here. He's really getting the elbows out, parking the car exactly where it needs to be. But I am determined to get this move done. Lap number 13 then, not long to go. 5 laps left, and we're still going on, and we're making a very bold move to the inside of turn 2. We've caught him out a little bit on the inside, and we've out-tractioned the man, but he's still there on the outside, and he's going to go the long way around, but we're going to have the line and maintain the P7. Bit of snap oversteer there, but now, can we chase after Gasly, or are we going to continue to battle with Fernando Alonso? Well, at the moment, we don't have too much ERS to play around with, and fuel is also an issue. You can see in the bottom right, we're on yellow on the icons. We need to save fuel as well as we defend against Alonso into the hairpin. Obviously, the AI very good off that left-hander into the hairpin, and Alonso really keeps his foot in, and he's out-tractioned us completely on the main straight. He's got us, and he's got DRS as well. This is the worst nightmare. He's got DRS, and he's ahead of us. How is that? That's the worst scenario I could have hoped for there. We had literal 1 digit of ERS. He gets DRS again, and we have negative fuel. So we need to actually save it and go into lean mixture in most of these corners. I'm saving rich mix only for the last sector alone, but we're going to still continue to try and attack him. And Alonso's really snaking around. He is not liking that Alpine car, is he? As we now send it to the inside, and this is really turning into a ding-dong battle with Fernando Alonso here. Really getting a bit personal between us and him. Obviously, Ferrari is old team v him, and we go again, and we make some contact there. He's on the inside, we're on the outside, and Lance Stroll may just join the party as well, and we are going to be a sitting duck on this straight. No DRS, we're in 8% ERS, and Alonso is back past us, no surprise, and Stroll may join the party now. He's going to get a good exit off here. We're going to have to try and block him off on the left-hand side. As you can see, he's trying to nip through. We're just going to have to block him off on the racing line and just hold this line through onto the next straight and see if we can try and get the DRS back off Alonso. Will that be enough, I wonder, to overtake him? We've not got too much battery to use either. We're down to 2% ERS. 1% we are really cutting this fine. We are cutting this very fine in terms of not even having any extra battery at the end of these straights. And through the brakes, and we gain some more, but hardly that much here. And we're unable to make anything work into turn 1 again. To turn 2, though, again, can we try something on the outside? We have a little look, and it's just not going to work. We get a screen freeze for good measure, and we actually lose the back end. So that ends that. We're going to have to wait again for another different lap. This is now absolute crunch crunch time. It's lap 16, only 2 laps to go after this one, and positions ahead of us completely gone. That fight has cost us about 3 to 4 seconds there to Gasly, so it's all about fighting for P7 here in a Ferrari, you know, where they truly deserve to be, you know. As we go around the outside, we're having just such a mega scrap with Alonso. It's down to the inside of the chicane. We fought so hard for so long. We've surely got to keep this now, but look at Stroll flying through on the left-hand side. He's actually got us. We have to now defend against him, squeeze him into turn 1. Bit of contact made. We go completely off circuit nearly, but we come back on track, cut across Stroll to maintain P7, and Alonso is actually going to be back to the inside of Lance Stroll. What a mega fight this has been. It's just been a shame it's all been for P7, but it's a very hard-fought P7. Lewis Hamilton wins this one, but we come home and we do finish ahead and defeat Fernando Alonso in what was a mega fight, and we may have not had chaos, but we certainly had some great racing for once here in the Road to Glory series. But Hamilton wins it, Sergio Perez gets second place, and Bottas in third. So Bottas still being as clapped as ever in this series. I get that, add that to the list of things being realistic, actually, for this series then. But yeah, in the end, a hard-fought race, not for too much, but in terms of where we are in the championship, it doesn't change too many things for us. Of course, Hamilton will retake the lead in the championship, so that fight continues on for the championship win, of course, in the lead. For us, we stay put, really, so actually not too bad. The only thing they did swap around in terms of the constructors were McLaren and Alpine, but I think they're going to slowly start to catch us again, as obviously maybe, you know, we did get very lucky in the last 2, so maybe this is where, you know, obviously McLaren looked very quick today, so maybe this is the start of us having to limit the damage in the next few races until we get lucky again, maybe at some other point in this season. But half for one nonetheless, and I guess, you know, very well earned P7, I would say, with that massive race long scrap with Alonso. If you guys did enjoy this one, then be sure to hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you are new around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.